सलाम मेरे अजीज पंखों।
Ignoring the warning, they keep running and lock himself in the nearby room. They, God, please save me. Please, please save me. At least answer my prayer this time. Please save me. He was mumbling and crying when he listened to the voice of keys inserted in the keyhole. Fear clubbed him completely. Soon Mr. John entered the room and they cried loud, with hiccups, that devil who took steps ahead. Mr. John, run now. Let's see where will you go. He laughed and they took back step. Soon they back come in the corner of the wall and he fell down on his knees while crying. Jungkook was assuming himself extremely clever, but he had no idea his father was two steps ahead. He was driving back to his home without having an idea what's going on behind his back. His innocent husband was struggling to save himself from this devil father. Soon his eyes went to the packet of dog food, and only thought come to him, there is not anything at home to feed the dog. Resulting, he took U-turn. Holding the packet of dog food, he unlocked the gate. For a long moment, he was puzzled because Taeyoung's crying was echoing everywhere. Tae, what happened? He loudly called him while locking the main door behind himself. Jungkook, Taeyong? Jungkook called him loudly when noticed everything was here and there. He ran toward the room from where the crying voice was coming. Jungkook, Dad? Jungkook was shocked. The small figure was begging for mercy in front of that merciless, oversized devil, who was holding an evil smirk on his face. Theon, who was crying out loudly, got new energy in his frame after Jungkook in front of his eyes. Bearing with the uneven breath and hiccups, they managed to make himself stand up with his terribling legs. Before he could dare to move toward Jungkook, Mr. John grabbed his arm tightly. Jungkook, Dad, leave him. Jungkook gritted his teeth. His eyes were ready to kill his father. Rage was running in his nerve more than blood. Taeyong willing to free himself but could not. Dad, he's my husband. Back off. I don't want to harm you. Jungkook warned his father for the time began. His eyes were fixed at Taeyong's arm, which his father was grabbing wildly. In the same way, an eagle grabbed its prey. Mr. John, I'll deal with you later. Firstly, let me handle him. Mr. John smirked at Taeyong, who was still attempting to running toward Jungkook. Mr. John, I bought him, and I never let my stuff be used by other. Jungkook blood boiled after listening to the low-grade and disgusting statement for his husband. Jungkook, Dad, Jungkook, Dad! Jungkook yelled. The roar was so loud that the lifeless walls of the house were also shivered. His voice was holding a thunder effect which was enough to show the thunderstorm present in him. Jungkook, don't you dare to utter a single word for my husband. Jungkook pulled out the gun and soon his father was at the trigger point. Mr. John was shocked. His son was taking him on gunpoint to save an ordinary boy. Jungkook again demanded to leave Taeyong, but the evilness of that old man was at its peak. He didn't lose his grip. Dad, I'm saying last time, leave him or I'll shoot you without any guilt. Will you shoot at me? For this boy, I'm your father. I'm ashamed to be your son. Jungkook murmured, but with no effect. Mr. John was still standing shamelessly. He didn't have realization that Taeyong was his son-in-law. He had a strong feeling that Jungkook being his own blood and flesh without should. But sometimes things were go beyond expectations. A loud shooting voice hit three pairs of ear. At the same time, a bullet hit Mr. John's left arm. The young was shocked when his arm was left from the tight grip. John's eyes remained unblinked for a few moments. Blood started dripping down from his arm and a sharp, unbearable pain rushed in his body. Finding a chance, Taeyong ran toward Jungkook while rubbing off his tears and hugged him. For the first time, Taeyong hugged him for the first time. Jungkook felt his frail figure against his hard chest. For the first time, his heart success. He was successful in converting himself into his protector from his kidnapper, Jungkook. Taeyong, don't cry, Jungkook said. He whispered, wrapping an arm around Tae's shoulder, but he was shocked again when his hand touched the soft skin of his shoulder. Shifting his side to his back, his heart forgot to beat for a moment. Jungkook covered his bare milk white skin with a big hand to save his husband from the dirty gaze of his father. They were scared. That protective hug was much required at that time to provide a little amount of peace. In his heart, Jungkook, shh, you're alright, aren't you? He asked, not more than a whisper, but Taeyong was not going to reply. His condition was not supporting him. Hiding his face in his broad chest, they was gripped his shirt tightly. They was still crying with hiccups. Jungkook, Taeyong, don't cry. I promise I will not let you face any harm. Jungkook whispered near his ear. He wanted to move back to go away from his father approach, but Taeyong was held scared to move by a single inch. He could not feel his shivering in his arm. They, don't leave me alone. Just don't. They begged. Life was difficult for him, but this experience was most horrible among all of the pain he had till now. Jungkook, I will not. Don't worry, Jungkook assured him in a similar whisper. At that moment, Jungkook was dealing with his scared husband without bothering to notice his father's condition. Mr. John was enduring the pain, but one pain was unbearable for him. His only son, his own blood and flesh, his first child, gunned him down for an ordinary boy. How could he bear this pain? Since even Mr. John had an iron rule, don't cut the branches, destroy the roots. And what was the reason behind this act of Jungkook? No one else but Taeyong, who was crying in Jungkook's arm in front of his eyes. Ignoring his injured arm and its pain, Mr. John pulled out his gun and killed the main cause of that distribution between him and his son. One on the other side, Jungkook felt a little movement of his father. His small heart refused to beat for a moment, and his eyes refused to accept what he was saying. Jungkook's face was red due to the pain. Jungkook, Mr. John was shocked. He never wanted to hurt his son. His target was Taeyong. He huffed and took Taeyong at his target, but Jungkook was still not backing off from his promise to protect him. They, Jungkook, kneeling in front of his unconscious blood frame, they pat his cheeks, an unsuccessful attempt to wake him up. He cried, screamed, shouted, but he didn't respond.